Hey guys, I'm Michael Lau for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Travel Costa Rica Now is a travel agency, man.
We've used them.
They used us.
Oh yeah.
Big plug. Thanks. Anyway, guys, we can hook you up with transportation, your hotels, your adventure tours. We're like you, having best friends that live in Costa Rica that totally hook up your Costa Rica travel package. Oh my God, that was a good commercial. All right, guys, we're talking to Tuesday and Jason. We talked to him before about some specifics about living here. They've only been here 6 months. Oh my God, they're like puppies. Anyway, we're gonna see how they got down here, and maybe you can relate to some of it. Anyway, guys, so what were you doing before you came down here? What was your thinking? Your working? Your whatever?
You know, I was working in the hotel industry for over 20 years, and I was done. Wanted to do something different. I'm just totally stressed out, and we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do. And when we met, Jason was like, you know, I don't want to move out of the country. And I'm like, really? It's like, I don't know. I wasn't even thinking about it. And then we kind of started researching, and I said, you know, I could probably teach online. So, you know, I have my master's degree, so I decided to look up different schools I could get my teaching certificate and figure out what countries. And I said, well, you know, look at China and other countries.
I collect Social Security disability, so I can kind of do that anywhere. I mean, there are 39 countries where I can officially become a resident and do that, but Costa Rica is one of them. But we started thinking about, like she said, China, Japan, Korea, because, I mean, they're places we'd like to visit.
Yeah.
The cost of living is just way too high, and, I mean, the language is just really different.
Right.
I know they got like signs you don't even know, have the foggiest idea what they
Exactly.
say.
And then, you know, also, I'm a cannabis user. And, you know, when we looked up, Cambodia was actually the #1 friendly country. They have happy food in any of the restaurants, meaning cannabis food, and you can actually buy the cannabis. But the healthcare is non-existent,
Yeah.
and actually research showed that expats die 20 years early when moving to Cambodia.
And healthcare obviously is a big
very important.
thing to think about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you have something happen, you want to know that you can get it taken care
Well, you know, it's
Right.
weird. A lot of people that write me or talk to me, all they go, Costa Rica's expensive. Well, there's a million things to think about if you're going to move out of
Yeah, I
country.
mean,
There's
yeah.
a million things. There's money. There's healthcare.
Yeah.
There's infrastructure, political systems,
Yeah.
all kinds of things. So
Exactly, and while let's say Thailand is a really good option, I mean they legalize cannabis. They're also top 3 in the world for healthcare. You know,
The language.
I don't speak Thai
Yeah.
at all, and it's a completely different like letter system. I mean everything, like you said, I could look at signs and not know what they are at all. And now, while yes, I could use the Google Translate, it's like here I have to use it only like a portion of the time because I actually speak some Spanish living from New York City and then LA.
So it sounds
Yeah.
like you guys were looking for like maybe a simpler life, but also a little bit less expensive than
Yeah.
what's going on in the States.
You know, I mean, from doing some research, I mean, are there expensive homes and properties here? For sure. I mean, can you buy something that like you're trying to reproduce in the United States? Yes. And is it going to be
Kazoo is
expensive?
full of that, right?
Yeah.
That's what sounds it.
But that's not what we're looking for. I mean,
Well, when we talked, you know, I told him, I said, we live in Long Beach. I want to be by the beach. So my biggest thing was that. And Jason does all the research, and he's like, you know, we picked Costa Rica. The beach is too hot, too sticky. I was like, that's not going to work for me.
Yeah, you need a budget line item just for air conditioning.
100%.
Pretty much.
100%.
so, and then honestly, all the research showed that like the lake area in Costa Rica has some of the most temperate climates in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So you guys did homework.
Yeah.
So you think on we want to move out of country, and you definitely looked at a bunch of different options. What about other like a Colombia, Panama?
Well, Panama obviously is an option, but from our research, you technically can't own anything. From my research that I found, it's like you can only own, I think, like 49%, and then someone who's Panamanian has to own the other 51%. I think technically, when you go to buy something.
And there's no military here in Costa Rica, so that actually made me feel good because there's not a lot of civil unrest. There's no
It's
real...
the United States
Yeah.
military. That's why there's not.
Exactly.
civil unrest.
Exactly. So
Have you-
that made me feel comfortable.
Have you looked into why there's no military here? Like why they dissolved it?
I did. I don't
personally haven't.
remember exactly 100%.
It's an interesting story, but you should look into that.
But they
Basically,
but
they had
they
a
cut-
coup.
Oh,
They tried to take over the government, to kill the president, and get him out. and the president, they won, and the president said, we're done with our military because
Yeah, no
they
more
went
troops.
against him.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, good for them then.
Yeah.
So now, you've done some homework. Did you come down here first?
We did.
Yes,
Did you visit
yeah.
before you
We
actually?
visited last September.
After like figuring this was the area.
So doing recognizance.
Yeah, I mean, we had looked at a lot of your videos, went through Travel History Network and now to plan our trip.
We
as
stayed
well.
in El Tanque.
Yeah.
We stayed in La Fortuna. We stayed in El Castillo.
Yeah.
So we got a kind of a sense of like some of the areas, and we understood that should we move down there, we'd probably have to investigate some of the other areas, which is like why we stayed in Arenal for a minute to see what
Right.
that was like.
Right.
So.
How was that? How was Nueva Arenal?
It was okay.
You know, the weather's great.
It's okay if you like living with your grandpa, you know, there's a lot of older
the
people
median
there.
age of of all the gringos there was 74. So, you know, everybody was like, yeah, my parents are older age.
You just go there to drink and, you know, die for the most
Pretty
part.
much. And that was them
They
saying
said
That's
that.
not
They
us.
actually
They
said that.
actually were like, yeah, you know, all the gringos that live in Arenal just come here to drink and die. Okay.
And we found a great place there. It's just, you know, they ended up having too many break-ins near our area where we lived, and we were there for 2 months.
And maybe it's because it's not a tourist town, but a gringo town.
Yeah.
So if you don't have
Right.
bars on your windows and a dog,
It's kind of like screaming to say "break into me."
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
much, and that's exactly like here. This one guy that we knew that lived there. He just moved into this one place, and it has like
Oh,
a
yeah.
metal gate that goes around a portion of it, but there's no bars on the window. I think like after a couple of days of living there, he went somewhere and they broke
No,
in.
the thing was, I think he had Ticos help him move.
Yes.
Not saying anything bad about Ticos, but he was foreigner, and he had a safe. One of the things he moved. So I'm thinking they probably
knew he
saw
had a
that
safe.
exactly, and they probably
Which
broke
is
in.
how it all
But that would happen even in the States, probably.
Pretty much.
I mean, you know, be smart about it. So.
All right, so you did your homework. You've been down here. So, but what were your, I don't know, your expectations and feelings? Because you've done all this research. Did you think you'd just come down here, like, you know, you're thinking about, like, am I going to be a resident? Is banking going to be easy? Is the cell phone going to be easy? Or did you kind of know how this was all going to go?
We did enough research that like what I found was that I didn't need to mess with banking.
Right.
You know, even if I became a resident, I still don't need to have my banking here. I can still have all my banking in the
We
States.
have a PayPal account, or both do, so
Yeah.
it makes it easier.
With the cell phone, you know, she kept her T-Mobile account. I dropped mine, and so I have like our Costa Rica number, and she has like our United States
Right.
number.
I mean, like your expectation, that's good too, but I mean, like coming down here and just, you know, getting into the culture, did you think things were going to be easy?
No,
You know,
I knew that things were variable, and for me having
Yeah.
autism, that was the research I needed to do. Knowing that I could ask 10 people the same question and get 10 different answers, I have to know those. I have to have that
Wow, it
expectation.
seems like you've been here longer than 6 months, Jason. How do you know that?
I have to have those expectations for me having autism. Otherwise, it would be the worst experience for me. But having those expectations, I know, okay, you know, I know I can be misled and misinformed, and so when that happens, I'm not as worked up as I would be without that information.
So it sounds like
Right.
you came almost like with a good attitude about what may happen.
Yeah.
Like, kind of maybe it could be unexpected.
I mean, most people we met, Tico or Gringo, either way, have been very nice.
Yes.
And my challenge with me is that I don't speak the language, and a lot of Gringos don't anyway that we've met. So I don't even speak the language. They know like a few words to get by, and I know that. Jason knows a little more than I do, but I'm trying to learn it more because I want to relate to people more and make more relationships. But that's probably that's my own downfall. But as far as the expectations and people we've met, we haven't really had any bad encounters that have been, you know, detrimental to us moving here.
All right, so now you get here 6 months ago. What have been first the pleasant surprises, and then we'll do maybe some surprises that maybe weren't so pleasant that you weren't even expecting. So what have been some of the good things? You moved down here, you're here, and you've been here 6 months. What has been kind of nice, or is it?
I think that we already knew from looking at pictures and traveling here, just looking out and not seeing like streets and buildings and all that, just the views that we see, even just here, wherever we go, it's just so beautiful here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just amazing. We wake up and see the volcano. I have to see it every day. When we were in Fortuna, Arnaud, we couldn't see the volcano.
No.
And we missed that. Or the lake, either one. So seeing the volcano every day, just, it's just something different than seeing a building downtown Long Beach. Okay, you know, it's like
Yeah, the beauty
you
of
know?
Costa Rica
Yeah,
is real.
it really is,
For
and
sure.
it's amazing.
It's everywhere.
It is.
So it's like it's kind of hard to not like have it all the time, which is wonderful. For me, honestly, our plan was to get a motorcycle, you know, not a car right away. And so honestly, I was a little concerned about driving a motorcycle in a foreign country, in Costa Rica. You know, you hear about all the crazy drivers. To be honest, I feel safer here than in, let's say, California. I mean, for sure, but pretty much almost anywhere in the United States. There's just less people unless I'm in a major town.
See, that is the kind of thing. Although they can be crazy drivers, if you don't live in the city and kind of around, you're really not encountering
Right.
tons of traffic.
Right.
Like I wouldn't go to San Jose with my motorcycle probably, because that's probably. I mean, everything I've heard about it. I mean, people say don't drive a motorcycle in
So
San
that's
Jose.
been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit easier. in
I
that
actually
regard.
prefer, like, we had to buy a little car for her because she can't really handle the scooter.
If they see our last
can
video,
handle
we'll know,
it.
we would know that Tuesday wrecked that scooter
Hey.
73 times.
Oh my God!
All right.
Whatever.
Anyway, I actually love riding my motorcycle. It's like the perfect roads. It's windy. You know, it's actually a lot of fun riding my motorcycle.
Right.
So that's been one of
Especially
the.
around the lake.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
No, it's
and
beautiful.
what's great
Yeah.
about it is it's like I can just stop on a dime, take a picture, pull off on a road if I need to. I mean, it's really very nice, convenient. Oh, and it costs next to nothing to run because honestly, it's like maybe once a week I'm putting $8 in my motorcycle, if that.
And you know,
and we're taking like hour rides
Yeah.
at a time each direction.
But one
so-
thing I have to say is when we first got here, and our experiences are different. He lived in Vermont for a long time, so he's lived in the country before. I pretty much lived in the suburbs or in the city most of my life. So coming here into this environment was a little nerve-wracking for me. And living in the couple houses we've lived in, we're on the ground floor, and I'm like, I don't live on the ground floor. So I'm thinking someone's coming out of the woods at some point, or the rainforest. So I was
Also, there were no
nervous
neighbors.
You're
for
from
a
a
while.
city.
Yeah, but I'm usually on the
we were
second
in a house with
floor,
no
or
neighbor. It's like, you know, house and just nature.
And so it took me a while to.
Wilderness.
I'm still not used to it, but every day is a little easier. Plus, we live in a house with bars on the windows now, so a little more comfortable. Plus, we have the dogs, so I'm understanding. You know, petty theft is petty theft. Most of the crime here is petty theft, which we have observed, and not observed ourselves, but we've heard of, and we haven't experienced it
And once you
personally.
take care of that, once
Yeah.
you do your thing,
Due diligence,
usually
yes.
you're pretty.
If you have that in your mind and you do your due diligence
Right.
and you just stay focused on those things, like, you know, you go to the waterfall, you know, you keep track of your shit. If
Yeah.
you don't, you know what? It's probably
gonna
not
go.
going to be there.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm learning to deal with my surroundings, and it's every day is better. It's not getting worse, that's for sure. So the things that made me nervous or scared when we first got here are slowly dissipating, and I'm enjoying it.
Well, it's good you did your homework because I
Yeah.
mean, obviously you know about the possibilities of gringo pricing
Yep.
and
Yep.
Tico
And we've
time.
experienced,
No, no, no.
the gringo pricing.
And the red tape of the
Yep.
bureaucracy here.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
You already
Oh, yeah.
kind of knew that.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Jason, when he needed to go back to the States to deal with something with his Social Security, we were like, well, we'll just go to the embassy in San Jose.
No, people even
So,
said, oh, yeah,
no.
you could just go to
So,
the embassy.
so
no
we
problem.
called. They said call. We called. It said send an email to make the appointment. And then we called. They didn't make the. So you can't even get the appointment.
You send the email.
We
The
could not
email
get
is
it.
the email you get back
Says
is the
to
generic
call.
one says to call, set an
You
appointment.
call.
You call, it says
So
send an email.
Didn't work. So we
So-
had to go back to the States.
And
to
I
do
didn't
it.
want to drive 3 hours to San Jose.
Just stand in line and them tell you no.
to
Quick
stand in line
story.
just
They
to get
would
an
close,
appointment.
and then they're closed.
To stand in
Yeah.
line just to get an
Yeah.
appointment. I just figured, just from speaking to Social Security about what I need to take care of, I actually just had to go to the States anyway.
Which
so.
was great. We just went to pick up stuff. We have in our storage unit, so it was fine.
Quick story, the embassy here sucks. I almost got arrested there because of that point. You need to call, make an appointment. I drove over 3 hours to get there. And I'm like, I know there's less than 15 people in this office. And you're not going to let me come in
Wow.
and renew my passport or whatever I had to do?
No way.
They were like, nope, you got to leave. They wanted to arrest me. And I stood there. I was like, do it.
Would they let you make an appointment?
Yeah, for like 3 weeks away.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, now
Yeah.
how you do is you go on the
But that was my
internet.
anticipation. My anticipation was, okay, I understood if I just can go to get an appointment, it would probably be in 2 to 3 weeks, and I come back and deal with
Yeah.
it.
I stood there. I was like, arrest me. This is going to be a good video. Arrest me.
No, but those are, for my research, those are the anticipations I had.
Yeah. So, So, what about anything that kind of surprised you in a bad way? Well, maybe you're moving around. Was
The
that
moving. Well,
You know, I
those
mean-
were learning experiences too. I think. I mean,
we
You
knew.
guys got a great attitude about this. I
that's
appreciate
just
your attitude.
that's just who we
'Cause
are.
some people would be on here going, "We have moved 17 times
So-
in 2 months." And
So okay, so let me tell you in a nutshell. So we got here, we moved to an Airbnb. The Airbnb guy had a place for rent, so we rented his place. Looked at a few others, but we did rent his place eventually, and it was great. But they had some break-ins on the street where they were, so we looked at coming to Fortuna. We had challenges there. Within a week, within 2 days of us being there, he said, "Oh, this isn't going to work out." So we had to move 4 days
He told
later.
us one story, and then
Yeah.
after 2 days being there, he's like, "Oh, that story is totally different, and you have to move out by January 1st, which is like the height of the dry season
And
here.
here,
You can't find
anything. So then we finally found a place at El Castillo, but we didn't check the internet. That was our fault. The internet didn't work out. We stayed there for a month.
the internet
now
wasn't
we're-
working very well.
Correct.
It's a
Correct.
0.1
It's just
megabytes.
really bad. So now we're in a place finally we just moved to that we think is going to be, where we're going to
Well,
be.
actually,
Yeah.
I do want to say something real quick. This is kind of a warning because I think you've experienced this, and I've said it in other videos, but it bears repeating. A lot of times you're talking to somebody on the internet or even here that they tell you these stories. Hey, come out and manage our property.
Yeah.
Oh, come here
Yeah.
and we'll do this together.
Yeah, don't.
Or
Don't believe it.
possibly believe it, but don't necessarily
Have a backup plan.
Yeah,
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 pretty
backup plan.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
'cause, you know,
definitely.
We know people that have literally
Mm-hmm.
come down here with all their stuff, thinking that they're like, for example, they're going to run a hotel. It kind of happened to us. This is
Right.
the story of us. And you get there, and it's nothing what the person's saying. They had
Right.
a different agenda,
Right.
and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we don't really need you. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I just uprooted my life.
Right.
Like the
Which
person.
kind of happened to you.
Yeah.
Like the person here in La Fortuna that gave us the song and the dance, like, yeah, come run all these Airbnbs in my compound and this and that and this. Sure, great, but we get there and we have,
Yeah,
after
something else.
4 days, it's like, oh, my son's gonna come down and take care of this. It's like, okay, fine, but then he wants to try and actually ask me for money to stay there, and it's like, wait a second, if it actually cost me more to move the 2 times in 10 days because we had to go find someplace else.
And
'cause
if I
your
would
son
have known
was-
about your son, we
Yeah.
wouldn't have
We
come
wouldn't have
here
moved
at
there in the
all.
first
if
place.
you would have been
Exactly.
transparent, we just would not have moved in
Right.
here.
So, in all those changes we've had with just the moving, it's been good and bad. We've met people that we know we can count on, people that we know that, okay, these people are what they say, they're up and up. And then we've met people that are like, yeah, don't count on them for anything, so it's a good, and that's anywhere you go, though.
Like the landlord in El
Right.
Castillo.
Oh, he's great.
The internet didn't work out, but everything else was awesome. He
He
hooked
connected
us
us
up
with someone
with a
with
car.
a car.
I mean,
yeah.
that was $1,000.
Yeah.
He connected us with like a lot of things.
So there's good gringos,
Yeah.
and there's bad gringos.
That is true.
It's, you know what? It's like
That's
that
true.
with people all over
Anywhere,
the world. You got shit people, you got good people. They're gonna be everywhere.
You still have to discern appropriately and really have your radar on for bullshit or not bullshit. I mean, that's anywhere.
Now I gotta ask this, because you're black. I don't know.
Wow.
Did you notice that?
But
What? But you play.
Have you seen any? Have you experienced any sort of
No,
discrimination?
not at all.
Or
no, actually,
Not-
no. It's the opposite. Because there are black ticos and limon and whatnot. There have actually, well, not since we moved here so much, but when we were visiting, I actually got more gringoed than she did. Like when we would go to certain places, until she opened her
gringo
mouth and
pricing.
didn't speak Spanish, they would actually think that she was
A black Costa Rican.
Yeah.
so no discrimination.
No.
no.
Not at all.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen
Zero.
it. I can't obviously.
I mean, I haven't experienced it in the United States, but I feel it, so I know what it's like. But here, nothing.
We are
Not at all.
not getting into white privilege. now.
No.
I'm just kidding.
there is no way privilege.
Would you give any advice now, knowing what you know in 6 months to you prior to moving here? Like, would you go, hey, do this? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
take you
do your
back to right
research.
before you
I
move.
mean-
No, to you.
Oh.
Did you guys do something that you even like? Man, we could have done this thing better or been more prepared for this.
Honestly, our move happened because of we had planned. We planned, okay, we're going to move, but honestly, we wanted to move a year later. Things in our lives happened that we said, you know what? Instead of spending all this money to move to someplace else here in the United States, let's just take that same money and move to Costa Rica and just figure
there
it out.
wasn't
I mean,
really
we knew we were
anything-
going to have to figure it out anyway.
But there isn't anything that we did or didn't do when we
Save
moved.
money. Honestly,
Yeah,
I mean,
save enough money.
save as much money as
To
you
move,
can
to do them-
not
and to
just
have
to move,
some-
to just
yeah.
have this like extra money.
Cushion,
Whether-
yeah.
safety
what-
net,
yeah.
security.
Besides that, you want, let's say you want to buy a piece of property, you know, having an extra oh shit pot.
Yeah.
You know that something happens. You know you have to move 4 or
Rainy
5
day money,
times.
rainy day
Exactly.
You
money.
have to move 4 or 5 times.
I mean,
you know?
because we're not
whatever it
rich here.
is.
We don't make a whole lot,
No.
so we're still okay. But even with our funds that get us through and we're still fine, you still want to come with a little bit extra money.
Yeah,
so
you know,
you can be a regular Joe and come like us, but just have a little extra money.
Think about it
I
this
think
way:
every-
whenever you move
Yeah.
to a new place, and then like think about you move out of state, so you couldn't bring
Right.
everything for whatever reason.
I mean-
it's like if we move to a whole other country, it's like you're slowly accumulating all this stuff that you didn't bring.
I
with
think
you.
our move in general
Yeah,
was
a
probably like maybe $1,000 to physically move our flights with our dogs, and the stuff we did bring was maybe about $1,000
Right.
to actually get here.
What
And that
advice would you give to people that are watching this video and going, man, I think we're just like Tuesday and Jason, we could do this. What advice would
I
you
mean,
give
you
them?
need to
Don't ship stuff here.
Yeah.
Don't bring a car.
no
Um,
downsize to
Do your homework.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do your homework, but downsize everything. Ladies, downsize your closet, downsize your shoes. You're not gonna need it all.
Except for your hair products.
Except for if you're black, all your hair care products. But you need to go to an outdoor shop, get a lot of outdoor clothing because that's all you need is hiking boots, waterproof clothes, and that's it.
pretty much.
I always think it's the same. I think you have to be, unless you're wealthy, I think you have to be ready to do a simpler life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're not ready to do a simpler life, I don't think you should really even be moving here.
Right.
In
Yeah.
a sense, you know, it's like
And you don't need a car. You really don't. Like I said, like honestly, we could do with the motorcycle. We only bought the car so that she doesn't feel stranded. Like she can only go someplace if she's on the back of my motorcycle.
right.
So, but if you can ride a motorcycle or you're thinking about it, it's a viable
Scoot,
option.
yeah. So what do you see in the next 6 months? Is leaving an option? Is there anything that could happen here that you would, I mean, besides an emergency?
Short of an emergency.
Would one of you guys just go, man, it's, I don't know, too boring here, we gotta go back.
I think we want it to work. So I don't think we have an expectation of
not
planning
just
to
wanting it to
leave.
work,
I mean, we like it here.
I'm the one who has the most time on their hand. I collect Social Security, but I'm a trained musician. I have these other ideas that I want to do. Like pan gold as a hobby. Tinker with the motorcycles. So it's like if you find things to do, I mean, what is wrong with? I mean, it's a beautiful country where people are really friendly, and if you don't need all this imported stuff, like stuff from the United States or Germany or wherever it is, it's actually really cheaper.
I mean, I plan to teach online. I mean, I want to use my knowledge in the hotel industry, hopefully finding a job that I can do that with. But overall, I want to try to enjoy the
You just
country.
want to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
You want to live
Yeah.
without a bunch
We-
of stresses.
Exactly.
Of freaking 2-hour commutes.
Absolutely.
And go.
We want to go out and do things. I mean, I'm not an outdoors person at all. Not even a little bit. So I'm learning
like
to
you're
be
from
this
the
outdoor.
city, Tuesday.
Hello, yeah. But I'm
Holla.
learning to be this outdoor
And I
person.
love nature.
We go to the hot springs. We have a river right in our backyard, which is great.
Yep.
But I'm trying to be this outdoors person outside of hiking. I will not do the hiking thing. I'm not going to do that. But
Technically, you're hiking every time.
Well,
you
I'm
go to
talking
the
about
hot
going
springs.
to the volcano and hike. I'm not going to do that.
I don't want to go to the volcano and hike
okay.
either.
Good. That's great.
All right, guys.
You're missing out on all these wonderful national parks.
Darn it.
All right, guys. If you're what, this is the attitude that you need to have.
Yeah.
You do. I mean, maybe you didn't know I was going to say that, but this is, if you don't have this kind of attitude where things can change and you have to adapt and adjust, and oh my gosh, it didn't work out the way you thought it was going to perfectly. This is the kind of attitude. If you don't have this attitude, you probably should stay in Long Beach. Right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for talking, man. I appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having
I'm
me.
sure people
Thanks. It's
also
been awesome.
appreciate it. I'm Michael Allen, TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Did I tell you we're a travel agency? Did I mention that?
Yeah.
earlier?
Good.
Absolutely.
All right. All right. Peace, guys. Hope it helps.